G20 foreign ministers attended a joint summit that has put some of the staunchest critics of Russia's invasion of Ukraine in the same room as Moscow's top diplomat, the first such meeting since the Russia-Ukraine war started in February earlier this year. The build-up to the gathering on the Indonesian island of Bali has been dominated by the war and its impact on the global economy, with top officials from Western countries and Japan stressing it would not be business as usual at the forum. Good morning, I'm Abhyuday Shrestha, and these are the headlines of the hour. Lax government performance limits development expenditure to 45%. Most ministries fail to spend 1/4 of its allocated budget. CP and Mao Center struggling in selecting party officials. 41-member standing committee remains incomplete. Politburo announcement greeted with grievances. President Vladimir Putin makes a bullish speech to top Russian MPs, daring the West to have a go at defeating Moscow on the battlefield. And Ons Jabeur defeats Tatiana Maria in the Wimbledon semi-final to face Elena Rybakina in tomorrow's final. Rafael Nadal pulls out from semi-final due to abdominal strain. Complications in proceeding with development works because of inadequate funds can be considered a normal issue. However, with billions of rupees allocated for development, failure in ensuring expenditure speaks volume of the irresponsibility on the part of the government. With only a day left for the ongoing fiscal year to close, development expenditure has barely reached 45%. The Ministry of Finance allocates and releases funds for the nation. However, the same ministry, which had allocated 10.74 billion rupees for development, has failed in ensuring the target expenditure. The ministry has spent only 853.9 million rupees in the ongoing fiscal year, which is a paltry 7%. The failure of the Finance Ministry, which itself shoulders the responsibility of ensuring financial discipline of other ministries, is an evidence to the flaws and weaknesses of our government mechanisms. Considering the development budget of the fiscal year, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs has spent only 15%, Ministry of Women and Children has used 23%, Youth and Sports has spent 24%, Industries and Commerce has an expenditure of 25%, Education, Science and Technology has spent 28%, Law has used 32%, while Labor and Employment has spent 34%. The ministry, which shoulders the responsibility of construction of infrastructures, has spent only 46%. The total capital expenditure for the ongoing fiscal year stands at 43%. Development expenditure had stood at around 50% in the two previous fiscal years, suggesting that the expenditure has gone down in the ongoing fiscal year. The Constitution had revised the date for budget announcement on 15th of Jyeshtha as per the Nepali calendar to ensure timely beginning of development works. Despite such a revision, same approaches have led to the projects remaining delayed and stranded. At a time when the economic indices of the country are on a downward spiral, production should have been prioritized by expediting development works. However, ambitious plans have been limited to government documents. Experts are of the opinion that the power affinity of the political leaderships, slow bureaucracy, and profit-oriented construction entrepreneurs have led to the drop in development expenditure. In our Public Voice segment, we had asked people, why have the development budget allocated by the government not been spent? Let's take a look at what they had to say.
अवधि कटेको खण्डमा कुनै जरिमाना र सही समयमा गरेकोमा चाहिँ प्रोत्साहन गर्ने भनेपछि
उहाँहरुसँग जुन दक्ष जनशक्तिहरुको अभावको कारण पनि हुन सक्छ।
ठूला निर्माण व्यवसायीहरुले या ठूला खरिदकर्ताले पेशकी लिएर त्यो काम भन्दा बाहिर अरु कुनै विषयमा शीर्षकमा लगानी गर्ने
सुरक्षाको प्रतिभूतिको वातावरण नभइकन अवरोध सिर्जना हुनुको कारण
भ्रष्टाचार धेरै भएर चाहिँ हो जस्तो लाग्छ मलाई चाहिँ।
यो एउटै ठेकदारले धेरै ठाउँमा काम लिने।
The second largest party of the ruling coalition, CP and Mao Center, has not been able to select its officials even after 6 months of concluding its general convention. Even the Central Committee meeting of the party held for 3 days in Kathmandu also failed to conclude on the officials. Party chairperson Puspa Kamal Dahal concluded the meeting by announcing an incomplete standing committee and a jumbo politburo amid rising disputes and grievances. The CPN Maoist Center took a break of 2 days during its Central Committee meeting for selection of its officials. The party members had expected easy conclusion for the Standing Committee and the Politburo. However, because of the failure in adjusting the aspirants, CPN Maoist Center was not able to decide on 15 officials from the recent Central Committee meeting. An agreement has been reached in regard to the selection of Narayan Kaji Shrestha as the Senior Deputy Chairperson and Krishna Bahadur Mohara as the Deputy Chairperson. Despite Party Chair Dahal presenting 125 names for membership in the Politburo, it did not receive a warm welcome from the party members. The meeting yesterday was adjourned for a while after a chaotic situation surfaced, while the total number of members was increased to 156. The party also faced complications in deciding on the Standing Committee. While Chairperson Dahal said that the Standing Committee would have 41 members, no new names were agreed upon except for the pre-decided 15 members. Meanwhile, furnishing his clarifications for resigning from the designation of Finance Minister at the Central Committee meeting, Janardhan Sharma reiterated his claim that he had done nothing wrong. There are a total of 377 central members in the CPN Maoist Center. However, none of these members have a specific role assigned to them. The increase in number of aspirants and delay in decision-making from the leadership has seen the second largest party of the ruling coalition operate for the past 6 months only through the single-handed decisions of Chairperson Dahal. The Chobar Dry Port came into operation 3 months ago with a view to make hassle-free import of goods to Kathmandu. The dry port was supposed to ease customs process and was seen as a massive boost to the private sector. However, the dry port has been more or less stranded as traders bargained for more facilities. Despite a well-facilitated dry port, businesses are avoiding services, making one or the other pretext. Prime Minister Sher Bahadur Deuba had inaugurated the dry port in April earlier this year, as the inauguration had come about a decade after the announcement of the construction and 3 years after the construction actually started. However, 3 months into the operation of the dry port, the private sector doesn't seem willing to utilize the facility. Stating that the use of the Chobar dry port would enhance their expenses, the private sector is bargaining for more facilities. The Chobar dry port, spread over a land area of 260 ropanis, is equipped with all the facilities required for the export and import of goods, including customs, quarantine, and bank service. There are 3 buildings for loading and offloading of goods, 3 godowns, and 3 administrative buildings, among other facilities. However, in the face of a lackluster response from the traders, the government finds itself in a dilemma. Only 16 trucks have so far entered the Kathmandu Valley through this dry port. It's time now for our segment Public Pulse, where you text us with your opinion. Here's the question: why has the dry port constructed at the capital's Chobar not come under full operation? Your options are A, bargaining of businesses, B, lack of government coordination, and C, not suitable. The voting is on. Type NEWS, select your option A, B, or C, and send it to 34001 to share your opinion with us. It's time now for the sports news. Nepali sports associations have long been alleged of prioritizing political interests rather than the benefit of respective sport and athletes they represent. Many of them have been drawn into controversies by the state mechanisms. Taekwondo is one of the sports reeling under the existence of 2 parallel associations. The root cause of this issue has been identified as the regulating authority, National Sports Council itself. With the National Sports Council remaining indifferent, Taekwondo players have suffered the most. The National Sports Council is the authority shouldering the responsibility of finding solutions for problems of sports associations. However, the Sports Council is finding it difficult to come up with a solution for the dispute in Taekwondo, which the Council itself had created. One association of Taekwondo with international recognition is led by Prakash Shamsher Rana, while the National Taekwondo Association, provided support by the Sports Council, is also in existence, of which the president is Sports Council Deputy Chair Shiva Koirala. The new act requires the sports associations to embrace a federal structure. The first association with international recognition has therefore alleged the Council of not providing any help in the closed camp for the Asian Games. Disputes seem to have escalated as Koirala is aiming to ensure the official recognition only for his association. The persisting dispute between the two associations has hampered the preparations for the athletes preparing for the Asian Games. They were compelled to train at the open ground of the Dasrat Stadium for almost a month. A total of 44 Taekwondo players are currently preparing for the Asian Games slated for 2023 in China. It is imperative for the National Sports Council to play its part in resolving the issue and helping the athletes secure their aspirations of representing Nepal and winning medals at the international arena. And that's all for the moment. Thank you for watching. Have a good day.